Hey everybody, this is day 14, 13, 14 of our quarantine. I know that we will be out tomorrow about this time. We'll get out. So I guess this is day 13, right? So last day, thinking about things to do with the video, cooking wise. Megan was talking about doing or had done a cacciatori, a chicken cacciatori that we used to do together, and I thought I would dig out an old recipe book that Mom and Dad, Mimi and Papa, bought me after we went to Italy and Rome together, and it has such great kind of classic dishes that we had all over Rome and Italy that whole trip. So wanted to kind of dig that out and see where that cacciatore recipe started, and maybe make a little different type of version of it today. Yeah. So this old recipe book's been one of my favorites since I received it. I loved going kind of back in the day. By the way, we're out on the lanai. Beautiful evening here in Waikiki. Sun's starting to set. We're starting to get some really pretty clouds. That is west, by the way. And we've been watching naval vessels go in and out. I don't know if you can see on the horizon there. There's what looks to be like a destroyer or something. Probably hard to see in the video, but they're having exercises this next week, and there's just been a parade of vessels coming in and out. So anyway, thank you, Mimi and Papa. Lovely note that they bought me in the book that they bought me. Great stuff in here. I've got a bunch of tabs. By the way, if you don't do this in your own books, do it so we can always go back. This has been a long time since I picked this book up. Marinated mushrooms, cannelloni. Here's the next tab. Rubellata. Oh, I made that for friends that came over. I think all these purple ones I made at the same time. There's a spaghetti bolognese. I love the pictures in here too. Spinach cannelloni. We probably ought to be getting to it here. Well, these are all first courses. That's right. So beef and braised red wine, that might be something we want to do in the videos. Oh, just passed it. So here's my chicken cacciatore. Look at that page. It's all marked up, and it's also got all the spots on it. Isn't that funny? So that's the traditional chicken alla cacciatore, and I love making this. It's a super easy dish to make, one pan, and works really well. I do it a little different than they do it. They pour it all into a casserole dish and put it in the oven. I generally do mine on the stove top and put it in a nice heavy pan and do a slow roast on it at that point. So anyway, we're gonna do a take on this without chicken. We're gonna do it with pork chops that I have, and rather than pancetta, I think we're gonna use bacon. I normally always just use like a half a pound of bacon cut up into diced, and yeah, some garlic, tomatoes, chicken stock. I don't have any white wine today. We might use a little bit, something a little different. I'll look in my cabinet and see what I got. But here in about 30, 45 minutes, we'll have a beautiful pork cacciatora. Okay, we're back in the kitchen. I've got all the ingredients kind of pulled out, oops, except for the pork and the bacon.
Yeah, bacon.
Gotta have that. Gretchen wanted bacon today. She wanted breakfast for dinner, and we're having pork cacciatore. Sorry.
Totally breakfast food.
But it's got bacon in it, and that's all we need. So I've got a big heavy pan here. It's a heavy bottom pan and a nice pan. We're going to be able to do this all in one pot, make Gretchen happy. So we'll get that started. I'm going to actually start that warming up. So we're going to do the bacon first. And while that's warming up, I'm going to cut the bacon. Like I said, I do about a half a pound of bacon. You can do this either frozen, if you can cut it just like partially thawed, or you can just thaw it out and cut it and dice it. Farmer John, I always get Farmer John because my Uncle John got pigs. So there you go. I need a towel. There we are. So something I think Megan taught me years ago, several years ago anyway, to use a dish towel, fold it in half, down on your hardtop counter, and you can put your slippy slidey cutting board on that, and it'll never go anywhere. You know how you cut and it's sliding around everywhere? Thank you, Megan. Nice tip. Knife certified. All right, so I'm just taking these, cutting them into little pieces. And I'm gonna cut an onion too and put it in there with the bacon so we can get that nice and fried up, get all of that together. So I'm just gonna slide this in here. And I'll keep an ear for that, see if it's gonna, see when it starts hissing. Cut up my onion here. A lot of people have different ways of doing this. I try to cut all of that root off and go the other way and peel it. That's one way to do it. And just take off that back piece. I also do it this way. Cut off the root, flip it over, and with this face up, cut down almost all the way through, but you see your knife's held on to the skin, and that's a good way to peel it too. And just get the stragglers off of there. So that leaves a little bit more onion to go. Cut off the nasty ends. But hold your knife like this. Don't get your fingers in there to be cut. I have gone to the emergency room by cutting onions. I think I took a big hunk out of my thumb. Not a pretty sight, right, Gretchen?
Yeah. Only did that once.
So Gretchen's working tonight. She's not going to man the camera probably till a little later. So I've rigged up a stand. I hope you can hear me. It's over there. It's not going to move much. So we're just going to go with this. So I'm going to cut in kind of medium-sized pieces this onion. I like to cut this way first. Some people do it part way through. Yeah, I just don't mess with that. It's not going to be that much of an ordeal here. There we go. We've got a whole onion that's starting to make me cry. Oh, I got that down on low. Let's turn it up on high. Bang, bang, bang. All right. So that's that for the onion. I'm going to give that a toss so when it gets started here, it'll start frying up right. Now, I'm not going to put really any oil in it. Maybe I could have, but I think we're going to get plenty of grease out of this butter or this bacon, and I won't need to use any of the olive oil or butter that I would typically use. Certainly, if I use pancetta, that doesn't have as much fat in it. So, and most of the time, I'll actually just cook this bacon down a little bit, just get it started before I put the onions in, but yeah, whatever. That's the kind of dish this is, pretty simple and easy. All right, let's get that started. It's starting to get hot. Yes, I got the right one. That'll be good. I've got 3 pork cutlets here. Pork chops, if you will. I don't know what the hell they are. I got them at Safeway. So, you know, they're not pork loins. I think they're going to be shoulder. Well, they kind of do look like a loin. Maybe they're top loin or sirloin or something. But they've got a couple of nice pieces in there. So as soon as that browns up, I'll move that probably to a secondary dish and put these in and let them brown up before I get everything else going. So the rest of the prep, I'm going to do some dolce peppers. I do use, you can use green and yellow and, you know, just the mix of peppers, but I happen to have dolce here and I don't think they're open. Yeah, they're open. I always tear this open when there's a zipper or something, and then I don't have a way to close it. So we're going to use about half of that. Now these are fun to do. You can pull this end out. That one didn't come. When they're really fresh, you can just pop them out crisp and pull them back and just get the nice piece here, but this is not doing it too well. Or you can just cut them off and kind of pry out that inside. You don't want all the seeds in there. And I'm going to leave them in rings today. I think that's kind of fun to use. Peel out all those little seeds. You know, these dolces don't have a lot of seeds to deal with, but if you're going to use a green pepper or a green chili or something, which is always an option, you can pop that in, give it a twist, and pull it straight out, and that with the stem, and it's pretty cool because it comes all the way out. All right, we're almost there. That one's done. Let's get this over here. And I'm just going to come through and cut those. Again, keeping my tips kind of curled. So I'm using that not as just a guide, but to protect my fingertips. We don't want to be eating your fingers. That's going to be nice, give some color and a little bit of flavor to this dish. And you know, get creative. This is not on the original recipe, but it definitely inspired me to do something new and different. Oh, that looks good. That tastes good. You want one?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Vincent, she is working very hard, slaving away on this Sunday afternoon because she didn't work on Friday.
Got more important things to do.
Okay, let me grab a plate and I'll put that on a plate. Seeing some bubbling over there. Let's go give it a stir. Put that here so it gets in the shot. This is just a regular pan. It's not Teflon coated, which I prefer to stay off of Teflon if you have the any Teflon in your house and it's starting to scrape, crack, get into your food, get it the hell out of your house. That's not, it's not something you want to be cooked or eating out of, giving to your family, causing all kinds of cancer and nasty stuff. So let's not go there. This is looking good. It's softening up nice. I'm gonna leave the lid on it. Turn it down to about medium. And go over here. I'm gonna add potatoes to this because I'm not gonna put, a lot of times you'd serve this over noodles, probably do it over rice. But I thought maybe today I'd do just a potato. So I've got some kind of starch and build up in there. I had from Safeway, we had bought fingerling potatoes. So they're like the heirloom potatoes. And there's some purple ones and some red new potatoes. Let's get a purple one in here. They get a little crazy. So I'm going to use that many. And I'm going to probably this is going to cook for about 30 minutes on low after we get everything done and brown. So I think what I want to do is just maybe quarter these, cut them into, maybe that's too small, maybe kind of bigger chunks. And probably leave them whole for that matter for as long as we're going to cook it. I want to make sure we get the pork done, so low in snow is always good for pork. Look at that purple. Sometimes these are bright purple inside and just bleed all over the place, and this one's actually white. Tastes good though. It's just a nice potato. They all taste the same. All right. What else can I do to mess this up? I'm going to do all these at the same time, so they're all going right in there. I've got a can or two of these tomatoes. I'm going to see how much this pot's going to take, and I'll adjust. I'll probably just use one, but I'll adjust if I need to. But I had this sitting in the fridge. Artichoke hearts, Italian. Kind of reminds me, artichoke is a very Italian-based food. So I think that'll add an interesting flavor and texture into this dish. This is nice and hot. I'm not too worried about it getting brown on the bottom. I don't know if you can see this. But it's a little brown on the bottom. That will come up once I get some of the fluid in here, the liquid, and it'll make it taste really good. But I don't want it to burn, so we'll keep an eye on that. I'll keep the lid off now. I am just finishing up this. So I'm going to deglaze this pan just a little bit before I pull everything off, because that browning was getting a little bit dark for me. And I've got some more frying to do. But this, that did a nice job of pulling off all that stuck. I fought for years these non-coated pans, trying to figure out how to clean them when you're frying. Well, that's how you do it. Right there. So what I'm going to do here is just, most of that moisture has been cooked out, so I'm going to put that on the plate. And we're going to put all of that back in. Sometimes you'll do that with wine, but yeah, I don't have any of that. So I'm going to start again with some olive oil. You want to coat that pretty good. That's not going to deglaze anything, but that'll, you know, maybe you want to wipe that out if it's a worry. But all I'm doing here is browning. I just want to get these brown, kind of seared on the end. Ooh, they're brown enough already. Those look pretty good. And I think a good size of pan too, because we're going to get a lot of good stuff in and around it, and it'll meld nicely together. So while that's finishing off, I'm going to pull out the artichokes. Now these are marinated, so I don't think that'll be a big deal in this dish. Sometimes you might want to use just a canned artichoke, but I love these on salads. Cut them up, put them on a green salad, a couple black olives, things like that. So that's going to finish off that can. I think that'll probably be just plenty of artichokes to have. I want them kind of in pieces. I'll try to slice them like that. And I'm sure they'll fall apart a little bit in the pan. Okay, everybody's wondering what's going on behind me. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, check this out. We're going to bring those off. We're going to deglaze this. Get these crumbles up nice. I was thinking about the wine, and the closest thing I have is vermouth. I was thinking maybe going with a rum for this, or maybe a whiskey, but it's not Italian enough. So here we go with some sweet vermouth. We're going to pour about a half a cup in there. That is about a half a cup, maybe even a little bit less. Ooh, that smells real good. Kind of smells like a marsala sauce, you know? Let's get something better to scrape with. Yeah, that's coming off nice. So that chemical reaction with the heat, the water that's bubbling off the bottom, you know, when it bubbles, it comes off the bottom, that's actually releasing, getting between those particles and the metal, and causing those particles to come off. So that's what deglazing does. So that came off pretty good. I got a little bit more to get off, but it's looking good, and I got a nice sauce started. I'm going to just top this off for what we have lost. With the broth. Broth is coming. With the better than bouillon. About a teaspoon for 1 cup. And this is chicken, even though I'm using it with pork. I think you could go with beef or chicken, but it's just a little lighter flavor. Let's get that. Let's put back the pork. Just lay it right in there. And then we're going to put back in the bacon and onion. And in goes the veggies. And in goes the artichokes. So what we want to do is just make sure we're coated everywhere. We've got things kind of mixed together. I'll turn this way down. And I forgot the tomatoes. So let's get a tomato in here. I didn't think about that. I think just one tomato is going to be good. Things will cook out. It'll get a little bit of more moisture. These are diced tomatoes. Seem to be the most versatile for me to have in my cabinet. And they're good size, good chunks. All right, let's get the lid on and come back to this. Turn it on low. Just keep it on low. We'll set a timer, come back to this in about 20 minutes, see how it's rolling, and probably let it go a total of 30 to 35, depending. I've got one of those pork loins or pork steaks are a little bit thicker than the other, so I'll keep an eye on that one, make sure that we're done all the way through. Just wanted to see how we're doing. Oh, yeah.
It smells delicious.
Smelling good. We've got a nice long and low going on here. Not bubbling too much. I might want to just kick it a little bit.
Alexa, cancel.
And that was my 20-minute timer, so it's been 20 minutes. So anyway, while I was up checking on it, I wanted to put away the things, do all our, set things out, clean everything up, and lo and behold, I had this bottle of vermouth. And what do you do with vermouth? But you make Manhattans. I've got some ice. This is 2 parts whiskey. I've got a George Dickel Tennessee whiskey. I found this when we were in, where was this? Arizona or maybe Tennessee? I think it was Tennessee. That's right, Mom. And whiskey 12-year-old whiskey, sour mash. Got to use sour mash for the old Manhattans. This is the way Bob used to make them. So 2 parts George Dickel. And I buy it also because I can say George Dickel. You probably know that, right? So we got 2 parts whiskey. We got 1 part sweet vermouth. And that is some good stuff. That's Gallo. And you want to use just a couple drops of the aromatic bitters. This is the Angostura aromatic bitters, okay? All right, so we go from there to a little stirring. What I don't have here is the maraschino cherry. So normally you'd put a maraschino cherry in there, maybe a spoonful of the juice. But the top shelf stuff made with the nice, dark, expensive maraschino cherries. I like it with or without. It's all this good after the first sip, right? Oh, that is good. Oh, so good. That'll set me up really nice for the last section of our video. When that starts getting done and we start plating over here, we're ready to go for dinner. Oh, and Mom, I didn't leave her out. She's having her last beer, maybe 2, of her COVID quarantine. So she's been holding on to the last 2 beers, wanting to make them last. And now we've got the last night of our quarantine. Tomorrow we can go and get our own. Cheers.
Well, I almost made it through my drink.
Alexa, cancel the timer. I almost made it through my drink. Anyway, here we go. We had the timer set off. It's gone off a couple times, so I've been checking it every 15 minutes or so. And it's gone roughly about 40 minutes from when we put it on here. It's on like a nice low to medium low, and it's been going up pretty well. I've been checking it with the thermometer here on the fat piece like I talked about, and it's been coming up to about 150, 155. So I think it's time to serve and plate. We're hungry and it's time. So come on around, take a look at this close up on the pan and see how it's all kind of come together. So we've got the bacon in here, we've got the potatoes, we got the onions and the tomatoes, and those beautiful dolce peppers, the yellow and the red. It's gonna be really nice. We got a good sauce in here. Sometimes you might want to thicken the sauce a little bit, but we're not doing that today. It's just plain old cacciatora. If you put it on noodles, I would not rinse the noodles very well. I would just do a nice al dente noodle and just put that right on the noodles. Put the noodles in and then put that right on there. Scoop a bit of that sauce in there and make it so good. So good. All right, let's plate it up. We've got, you know what? I can move this right onto my countertop. And see if we can't plate this up for a dinner for two. So here we go. It's the first one. I just scoop out whatever's coming up. And I want to get all the fixings in there with it. So that ought to be enough for one. We're getting some good sauce in there too. I don't have parsley. I would put just a shot of parsley on there, but I have some dried basil. So I think a bit of dried basil just to give it a pop. And on mine, Gretchen doesn't like this so much, but I do like on Italian food just a hit of dried pepper flakes. Okay, crushed red pepper. And we have some cheap old Parmesan. I think you could probably get some better Parmesan. You put some shredded Parmesan on the top of that. It's gonna go bam. Say when, dear.
That looks delish.
All right. Ready for our taste testing.
It'll be hot.
Hey, you want to come around the other side?
Sure.
Or you want to take it right there? Whatever looks good. Oh, that just almost fell apart in my fork. Just solid enough. Let's scoop a little bit of that goodness on there so I can get as much as we can on that first bite. Because it's what's going to matter. It's going to be a little hot, so. So good. The meat is just tender and flavorful all the way through. The peppers are coming out in there. The bacon is seasoned the entire dish. It just is a marvelous taste. Okay, Mom, what do you think? Looks good.
It looks really good. I hate to say this fingerling actually looks like a finger.
Ooh, it looks like a thumb. Look at that.
I'm a little concerned with that. I'm going to leave that for later.
I have all my thumbs. See, there's one, there's the other.
Okay.
We're good to go.
Things that make me nervous when I don't watch you cook. Okay. Do a little bit of everything like you did. Although I have mostly bacon on my fork.
Uh-huh. You know it's good.
I do. Get a little tater on the end here. Oh, come on. That just smells really good. It smells like old school Italian, you know?
Rustic.
It smells like when we were in Italy and we have those great big meals. Oh. Mm. That's really good. I had a lot of Parmesan on my bite, so I had to kind of wait for that to clear out of the way to get all the other flavors. Really good. The bacon sets it off. Excellent move with the bacon.
Good saltiness, nice
salty,
blend.
It's not like salty, you know. It's nice, and it's just delicious. I think this would be really good with a pasta side of some sort. But all by itself, it's still fabulous. I need a big old slab of butter with bread and butter on the side to soak up all this goodness that's in this plate.
Hey guys, this is so good. We just can't wait to dig in. Love you.
Oh.
Want to thank you for looking at these and wish you all the best. And we'll talk to you soon. Bon appetit.
Bye.
So good.